81. Holy smokes. Yeah. Bicep tendon's a little not happy, buddy. All right, well, let's see here. Let's open some of that up. Yeah.
Oh, didn't even know that hurt.
Yeah, right? Well, you're a chiropractor.
Now, what one are you adjusting there?
I'm just opening each one of them. So whichever one's out of there, moving out. So typically it's radial head on this side. Okay. Especially when you got that in there, right? So let's just flip it.
You want me to move?
No, you just relax. All I'm doing, I'm not trying to make it go crazy in there. I'm just trying to stimulate it a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do next is set this humeral head back into place. Feel that clunk? Gotta get in there and work that bicep tendon where I want it. There you go. And then take that right there. Open a little space here.
Tell your patients what you're doing?
Yeah.
Usually, because I do all the time.
Yeah.
Talk too much.
Most of them know what's going on.
I talk
So
too much.
there you go, buddy.
Who says you talk?
Yeah.
My patients and my nurse.
Man. I figure you've been at this so long, you know what I'm doing.
No, I don't.
You don't?
I've watched you adjust people, and it's like, well, let's see. I was trying to figure that out, and he's already on another part of the body.
Uh-huh. I do go quick, don't I?
Yeah. I tell you, carpal tunnel.
There you go. Typically that. Okay. Nope. Put that right there. Mm-hmm. Okay, see if I can get a little bit more out of that. Uh-huh.
I feel like you're trying to break my.
I ain't gonna break it.
It's
What would I do with an extra arm? Huh? There you go. So let's go in here. Come on. There it goes. Try to move that around now. How's that feel, Doc?
easier. I get lots of crunching around that scapula.
Well, you figure none of that's been moving forever, so
Yep.
now it's like, okay, we're up and at 'em. All right, so Dr. Manny, you got all that, right?
Yeah.
We got a left head. So you got a left head translation in there, is what I'm feeling. So what we do. Jeez, dude. And he's stuck on that left side too. You feel that, Bill?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's
I've
occiput.
I've only felt that for years.
Okay, what I need you to do, you feel that pressure in there?
Mhm.
This is gonna rock your world pretty good. Turn your head to the right. Attaboy. Good. So now, okay, so that was a left lateral. Now I'm going to do an ASRSRP, Atlas. Now Atlas ASLP. Nice job, Doc. Woo! That's been stuck for a minute. PR, C2. C7, body left. T1. Woo! Take a breath there, bud. How's that feel?
I can't hear you.
Yeah, right? So he's still deaf. All right, come here. Give me a hand. Help you up. Okay? Got your bearings?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do nose in the hole. All right. So can you raise your right leg back? There you go, other one. Well, which one went higher there, Doc?
Second one.
My right one is the one that hurts right here. It bothers me when I'm walking, when I'm climbing stairs.
All right, so what I see, Doc, is I see a posterior rotation. Do you see that? So you have to add that in the mix, right? Posterior rotation on the left and a right translation is what I see there. Foot position is not too bad, which is interesting, right? So, yeah, so he is, let's see, right here. Yeah, we're going to call that a right posterior, Manny.
Okay.
So take that right there. Left inferior, right posterior. All right. I'm going to go ahead and go with the leg length real quick. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
So 1/4 inch right. And then he's a 1/2 inch right, second position.
Gotcha.
Left knee is super locked.
Okay.
All right, so let's see what his pelvis is doing here. See what that looks like. Yeah, I'm not getting much. All right, possible EX on right. Wow, these are tough. Yeah, let's call that right EX. Yep, and PI, right PI EX in there. All right. All right, what did I give him for sacrum?
He is left inferior, right post.
All right, so Bill, I'm gonna go ahead and slide this over here, buddy. Move this in here, and you feel that pressure?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of pressure. Boom, chakalaka. I say which post?
Right post.
Gotcha. Take this in through here, move this. There we go. All right, so legs are even again. Legs are even again. All right, are you feeling that pull in your quads now, Bill?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. On
Yeah.
the left especially.
Yeah, well, you went from this here locked to now it's out of the knees. It's now into the quads. Isn't that crazy? All right, so I've got a
Right PIEX.
right PIEX. You notice how his pelvis is flattened out in there? So are you seeing that in there pretty good with the video? All right, so move that in there. Take that right there. Little bump. I'm going to take this. We've got a right knot over here, so we definitely have a trochanter here. That's stuck. So take that. Okay, Bill, when I hit that, it's going to burn. All right. Close down that EX. A little bit more. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jolt it all the way across here. You feel that? All right. So,
I have no idea what you've done, but
how's that feel in the quads now?
it's a lot better on that left one especially.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Right one wasn't too bad before.
Yeah, the left one was super stuck. Big knot right here in the lateral. So, got a little ankle junk out of that too. Bilateral on the left. There you go. All right, that should loosen them up even more, Bill. How's that?
Yeah,
That kind of nice?
it is.
Put that there. All right, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to slide these under your hips. So raise your butt up. There you go. Got it. Perfect. Just like that. All right, so now I'm going to create some space here. Woo, buddy. All right, so I think he's body right in through here in that lumbar range, or body left, I'm sorry. So we're going to go ahead and counter twist. Now, I'm going to do something that's kind of counterintuitive, because I know we've got spinous process here, but I've got it bent so that the body rotation will be the thing we're working on. So now I'm going to go ahead and bump this in here. Ooh. Feel how deep those thumped in there?
Yeah. Was that L4?
I did number 5, 3, 1, 12, 10, 8.
I didn't hear 3. So I heard you did 3.
Uh-huh. I didn't say anything. You know what I connected there, though, on that body rotation side?
No.
My elbow. I set that with my elbow.
Oh, okay.
How cool is that?
I do that too, but I don't do what the stuff you're doing.
Yeah, well, why didn't you teach me that all those years ago? I'd learn on my own.
You know what?
Yeah.
I really wanted to show you some stuff on the feet.
I know. Well, we ain't done. We got more feet stuff.
No, I mean someday I'd like to show you what I do and why I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would like that.
Because the guys, you know, we've had classes and
Yeah.
nobody does anything like that.
Yeah. Well, and we're fast. We're fast on our feet. You know?
Yeah, you are.
All right, young feller. Right leg up, high as you can backwards. Ooh, another one?
Better.
Dang, son. Brand new wheels, baby. All right. Tell you what, Bill, go ahead and hop up, will you? Pardon me. I'm just trying to get the frog out of there, I guess. Woo! How's that?
Dizzy. Go ahead.
Well, you got blood going in your head again. Right?
You know what?
Huh.
That sounds like something else I tell my patients.
Yeah?
You get things going properly and it causes things to
Perfuse.
heal.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume you want me down there.
I already did stuff.
Okay.
I already got your shoulder done. I already had you lay on your back. I already got your neck reset. How's that movement in your neck?
Actually, the thing I was most
Was your back or
it
your?
was right there.
Yeah.
I mean, even driving down, it doesn't bother me so much driving,
Yeah.
but as soon as I get out of the car, it's like, oh, it's all locked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels better. Now, I haven't been able to touch my toes.
Well, let's see what you got. Bring it. Bring the rain.
Not
Well,
too bad.
I don't know if you're probably gonna have to wear a helmet. You're so daggum dizzy after all that. That's awesome, buddy.
I got news for you. I went out and bought this shirt just for you.
Just for
I
here?
even washed
It matches
yeah.
my eyes. Thank you.
Because I was gonna wear something else down that was more.
Yeah, sporty.
Actually, it was American flag, but it was
Oh.
short sleeve, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, you can wear anything you want. Well, have a seat. Have a seat. So, Gretchen and I, we're doing stuff for YouTube a lot of times too. So, you know, you've been doing this chiropractic thing for what, 40 some years now?
I moved in Fort Wayne in 1974,
Mm-hmm.
and I was 31 years old when I started practice.
31.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was 32.
Yeah.
So we're like almost the same age.
Yeah. you didn't start in 74.
That's true. That's true. You got that right. So how's chiropractic changed?
Changed.
Yeah.
I see the colleges not, and the National Association is not trying to help chiropractors make any money. So all they do is sell all kinds of equipment to make you.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that the insurance companies want to pay for.
Well, you were sharing with me just the other day that one of the insurance companies that will remain unnamed, you've been getting paid what, $25 for an adjustment, and they wanted to renegotiate down to what, 18?
No, 12.
12?
12 and 8. And they said it's an agreed upon contract.
Who agreed?
I didn't. So I
Yeah.
told them if they could get a third of their executives and a third of their employees to accept an 80% or 70% loss in pay, I might think about it.
Yeah. That was a lie, though.
I
You know the value of chiropractic. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you've seen miracles happen.
Oh my, yes.
I mean, people, you know, young people who struggle with, you know, fertility and pregnancy and things along those lines get pregnant. I had one, you know, I got to be careful how I say it, but I got 5 girls pregnant one spring.
You know what? It's illegal in the state of Indiana.
Yeah.
But I delivered my own last child, and I've helped 2 of my patients deliver their babies.
Right.
Because they didn't want to go to the hospital. The only reason I delivered mine was because this is back in '75. I went in, my wife and we went in to be checked by the doctor, and he says, "Well, she's going to deliver this weekend." I said, "Well, I'll see you in the hospital." And he said, "Nope, I'm going on vacation." I said, "Well, who's going to deliver?" And he told me, and I said, "He's not touching my wife."
Right.
And he says, "Why?" And I said, "I had a lady come to him. He took x-rays of her. She had terrible sciatica, and now she's 6 months pregnant. I told him I wanted to see the x-rays because I'm not going to x-ray her." And he says, I don't show my records to quacks." And I said, "He's not touching my wife."
You know what, though? Isn't that something,
So
though?
we delivered ourselves.
Yeah. Do you know, to me, I think it's better, though. I mean, when I started chiropractic back in '97, for me, we were still having those medical doctors say those same kinds of things. I don't really hear that so much anymore. I think a lot of those old dogs are gone, and people are kind of like, you know, easing out of it. But I think part of the problem, or part of the, I don't know if it's a problem, but part of the interesting aspect of it is that we've got so many chiropractors not doing chiropractic anyway, and they're doing PT, and they're doing exercise phys, and they're doing, you know, like you said, the stem whacker 3000 and you know, the chiro this and chiro that, and you know, they're not doing adjustments anymore.
Right.
So it's kind of like, well, no big deal. Everybody's doing everybody else's job. So, you know, there's nothing to be afraid of. And it's sad because, I mean, on one side of it, it's like nobody really can appreciate the true value of what a chiropractic adjustment can do.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've heard from physical therapists here, but they now tell their patients, if you want chiropractic, all you have to do is get your medical doctor to sign it, and I'll give you chiropractic.
Yeah, I know it's been going on for a while.
Yeah.
There's athletic trainers doing it too.
Yeah.
So no, I if we don't, you know, change course as chiropractors, we don't change course. I think chiropractic's going to be gone in 10 years.
I don't see that, but it scares me.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. I want these kids that are graduating to know what chiropractic really is about. I see miracles in my office. Yeah. Absolute miracles. And it's exciting, and I feel sorry for them when they don't. They're not shown it. They're not experiencing it.
Well, and they don't. I mean, the problem is that they're being taught by inexperienced young doctors. Also, you know, I was talking to.
Then why aren't you teaching in a college?
Because they wouldn't have me.
Yeah.
Actually, Dr. Manny, why wouldn't they have me? Okay, just one reason. All right.
You'd be ostracized immediately.
They don't want to know. They want to know. They want everything to be cookie cutter in such a fashion that everybody gets the same results. And I think that's one of the things that Dr. Manny actually realized in his experience. And you can speak any point, bud. But
you know what? I can see you.
Yeah, I know. Weird, right? It's not because I made you unblind. You put your glasses on.
I couldn't turn my head.
No,
off.
there's that. It's the little things, isn't it? But Dr. Manny, when he was looking at my technique applications, he went ahead and he brought it back to the schools, and those people about lost their minds, didn't they, bud?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the problem. They want everything cookie cutter. They don't want anybody to stand out. I think, he had even shared with me, one of the presidents said that all chiropractic techniques are the same. And they're not. You've been at this a long time.
Yeah.
So maybe I should defer to you. Are all chiropractic techniques exactly the same?
Every college teaches things differently.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, they used to.
Yeah.
They used to. I don't know so much anymore.
Well, one of the things you were doing here with me was adjusting the sacrum.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'd like to show you that one too. Yeah. But we used to do
We'll experiment on Manny after.
We used to do basic, where you'd take it and hold it for a half an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
That was Logan. That was a Logan technique,
yeah.
right? What they call that, brown thumb technique?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
But the thing is, back in probably, I would guess around 80, I had a woman call me a pervert for doing that.
Yeah.
And having her get into a gown to do an examination. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I quit doing Logan.
Mm-hmm.
What I've done is something like what you do.
Mm-hmm.
I use the blocks and with the pelvis rotation, and then I contact the apex and the
Posteriority?
Yeah, posteriority.
Mm-hmm.
And I adjust it into that.
Mm-hmm.
And it works so nice and so quick, and it's like, oh. And anyway.
It's interesting, though. I mean, again, you've got something that they taught you in school, and then you were able to go ahead and advance it, in part because you have to, because society requires you to do it.
No, you went to to
What?
Palmer.
Palmer, yeah. I was Palmer
I'll tell you.
Davenport. He went to Palmer, Florida.
Seriously, in 75 or 76, I started in 74, I had a principal drop a teacher off at my office. She had passed out because of a migraine, and he brought her in, or I shouldn't say he, because I don't know if it was male or female, and I was too stupid to go check. But anyway, they dropped her off for a migraine. I had never seen a migraine when I was in college.
Right.
I never saw one, and I didn't know what to do, so I'm going through my exam and trying to figure out what to do, and the only thing that I found was the muscle from the shoulder into the hyoid bone and to the pterygoid. I didn't even know it went to the pterygoid. And anyway, I found that was real sore, and I called Logan to find out if they could tell me what to do, and they didn't call me. I called Texas, I called Cleveland, and I'm like, I don't want to call Palmer, but I did. And the lady I talked to said, you need to talk to Dr. Virgil Strang.
Yep.
And I said, well, put him on. She said,
He was one of my instructors. You know that?
Well, do you know when he died?
Yes.
92, I think it was.
Was it 92 or was it later than that? Because he was president there for a while.
Yeah.
And I think he sure was it maybe 2002?
Well, in 2006 or 2008, I saw that Dr. Strang was retiring, and I wrote to him, and he never said anything.
Might have been his son, Victor.
That's exactly right. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Virgil had already died.
Yeah.
And here Victor was retiring sometime early.
I had
2000s.
him in school too. Had both of those guys.
I called, and he called me back. It was like 5 hours later, and he says, "Is she still there?" And I said, "Oh no, she's already gone." He says, "When is she coming back?" And I said, "Monday." And he says, "What time?" I told him, and he says, "When she comes, you call me." I said, "What if you're in class?" He says, "When she comes in, you call me." I said, "What if?" And he says, "Do you want help or not?" Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, right? Yep.
And he walked me through the exam, told me what was going on and why you did this and why you did that. We used the SOT blocks and would pump the foot on the, well, when you get the hyoid bone and the omohyoidus bone, muscle coming up here, that side, you would, it was pulling the sphenoid down because of the pterygoid, and you're pumping the meninges up into the brain, using the SOT blocks, and you're pumping there and they're pulling on the other side. And I have had such fabulous results with migraines. Just unbelievable. And I love it.
Yeah, right?
I love it. And I went into a medical office. I wanted to talk to a guy. He's not doing insurance. He's just a flat fee. And I went in there, and all the lights are out, and this guy's all by himself. I didn't know who he was, and I'd never even been in the office really. But I went in, and he said, "This is the MD was his brother's boy, and this guy was doing all the exercises and stuff, and he's like in his 60s." And anyway, I said, "What do you have all the lights out for?" He said, "I got a migraine." I said, "Why don't you come to my office and let me treat you?" I said, "I'll do it for free." And he hasn't shown up, but I'd love to. I'd love to try that.
Yeah, just show them, you know.
Yeah.
Well, there's, like you said, there's such value in it. I mean, for us, in my class, we actually had a Dr. Frogley. Did you ever hear of Dr. Ron Frogley?
Frogley. I
Frogley.
thought you said Frogway.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frogley. Yeah, I remember the name.
Yeah. So he actually was the old guy. He was 80 some years old then, you know, and but he showed me all kinds of things, you know, pubic bone stuff, wide variety of different applications, but it was definitely off the grid stuff. It was not your typical applications. And I don't know, you would think that the colleges would have like the old wizard. And that's the thing I always said I always wanted to be. One day I'll be like the old wizard, you know, trying to figure, you know, Manny calls me the old Weezer now, but, you know, instead of the wizard. So I think, you know, I'm almost a wizard status instead of Weezer. So, but no, it was so cool because, I mean, those are those little itty bitty things like you're talking about, reaching out to Dr. Virgil Strang all those many years ago. Me, you know, at the same time experiencing people like Dr. Frogley and then too, you know, learning from there. And I think, you know, at the same time, being able to get permission to think outside the box is something that a lot of the young doctors don't get. Right. They are told, stay here. This is safe. You don't have to think beyond here. And that's where chiropractic, I think, is stuck right now.
God forbid you get an audit.
Yeah, they're worried about audits, right? But what about the patients getting better?
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's all about, like you're talking about, all of the therapies and all this and that and whatever. So I don't know. Yeah. If you had, I mean, you had an opportunity. I gotta kind of close the video here a little bit. But if you had an opportunity to, you know, I mean, you know, talk to Manny and say, Manny, listen, if there's 5 things I could give you, what would those things be? Advice. What 5 things would they be?
Oh, wow.
That's narrowing it down a lot, I know.
Yeah, you know, the thing that I have found, there's one book that I really absolutely love in my office. It's fallen apart. And I've had patients buy me new ones.
Yeah.
And I still use my old one, Gray's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, it's rich. Mine is a 1966. Right? Yeah, it is in bad shape.
But you thumb through that thing, huh?
All the time.
Now that's kind of interesting.
There's so much in there. I love it. But no, my patients are always. Seriously, I think I've got 3 other new Gray's Anatomies, and I love what I got.
You go to the old one, huh?
And I got all my notes in it and my lines and stuff. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's interesting because, I mean, for me, that was how I would go ahead and do like nerve tracings. So, and things like that in chiropractic college. So when I would go back and I would, you know, try and figure out, okay, how does this go? How does this connect? I would use that model of what Gray's Anatomy would have. So I think that's really interesting you bring that up.
Well, you're adjusting my sacrum and all, and when I'm adjusting, the gluteus medius and minimus affect the hips so much, and so if you look at it, it's like, Lord, why did you put the L1, 2, and 3 to affect the minimus when it's the lower muscle, and the higher muscle is L5, S1, L5, L4, and it's the higher muscle in the hip. And
And then what did he say to you?
he didn't say anything. He says,
That's
"Fix
so
it."
weird.
He
Just
said,
fix it, right?
Fix
Just make it better. Yeah.
But it's so fun to have people come in that have had problems with their hips for so long and they can hardly function, and you adjust that. And I want to try to tell other chiropractors and teach them. And today, nobody talks to each other.
Everybody's an island. So at least one, get Grey's Anatomy and thumb through it and wear it out.
Mm-hmm.
2, communicate with your colleagues.
Yeah.
Yeah? So what are the other 3 things you think maybe you'd suggest?
Well, one thing that I have failed to do ever since I left the state board,
Mm-hmm.
I've never joined again.
Yeah.
And I guess the reason I didn't join was because I got ticked at what was some of the stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
And you can't change things if you're not
Not there, right.
And
yeah, we don't have joiners. Yeah, you know,
No.
the generation of kids coming out today, they're like, why should I bother? I don't want to be in politics. But I think some of it is, and you know me, I've been on the state association board.
well, you were the
And
president when I was on.
Yeah, that's so weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, as time has gone on with those kinds of things, you know, it was all about, okay, go into battle, let's set it, let's prepare it. Now everything's done. And I think what we have now is we have a multiple generations of chiropractors that are just consumers. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to go to war. They don't have to worry about anything. It's kind of like, well, the house is already done. All I got to do is show up, you know, put my feet up on the couch and get the TV going, you know, and that's going to end one day again.
Yeah.
And we need activists for chiropractic, but if they don't adjust because they're not talking to one another, or they're looking and becoming, I guess, if you will, members of franchises that everybody does everything exactly the same, again, there's no independent thought. There's no getting out that Grey's Anatomy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but yeah, I think that piece of advice is paramount, especially now that I'm sitting on the board of the International Chiropractic Association, which BJ's, right?
You know what?
That's
just-
huge.
Yeah, that just really, and that's one of the reasons I called you, because I wanted to come down here. And I haven't talked to you in so long, and it's just.
Yeah. Well, I'm always around. He's just trying to catch up with me because I'm around here and then I'm like over there, right?
Yeah.
Real quick. Well, you got, so the other thing is for a lot of these young guys, join, be a part of. And so what do you think the final thing is that you'd go ahead and tell,
I don't know.
You hit the good ones.
Yeah, one time I had a huge practice. Huge, not as big as a lot of people, but I had a very large practice and did very, very well. And in the last probably 10 years, I have just kind of sit back and twiddle my thumbs and.
Well, you just turned 81.
Well, but I mean,
so I think you get to do that.
No, I need to be helping other chiropractors. On Fridays, I don't work, so I go around and try to adjust other chiropractors.
Uh-huh.
And I would say that 2/3 of them won't even let me talk to them. 2/3.
Yeah.
I had one time I went out and I went to 7 offices. I got to adjust 4 of them. It was a winner.
Yeah. But isn't that something? Well, you know what? I think the thing that's amazing, you'd be amazed how many chiropractors who are constantly telling their patients get adjusted, they themselves aren't getting adjusted.
Right.
But it goes back to the fact that they're not talking to each other, not sharing ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know. I think all those key points that you brought up are all gold. They're all golden. So the hardest thing for people like myself is to, especially being in leadership position on the board of this and on the board of that, is try and figure out the secret sauce to get people to do those 4 things that you had brought up. Yeah. And it's not easy. It's harder now than ever because there's so many things that are grabbing everyone's attention.
Right.
And
the schools don't push it either. And that's where all the foundation is in the schools, and they've lost it.
Yeah.
it's sad.
Well, I tell you what, I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for your career. I'm thankful for you being, you and embracing me over all these years, as a young up and coming doctor. And now I'm kind of, I don't consider myself a senior doctor, but I'm kind of crawling into that space a little bit, right? But you keep doing you and keep doing what it is that you're doing and keep the joy, because I think that's the reason why you keep after it, isn't it? The joy that it gives you.
I don't have all the energy I used to have.
Yeah.
But I so love it. I do. Just a couple nights ago, a pastor, his wife was quite ill, and she was in the hospital, and I saw him at church and all the people around him, and I was going to say, why don't you come in and let me adjust you? And I didn't. And the next day, I called him and said, would you come in? It was a Sunday afternoon,
Mm-hmm.
and here he just been preaching, and he came in, and I said, he didn't preach that day. He was in the church, but he didn't preach. Well, turns out it was very serious for his wife. She ended up dying the following day. And I want to get a hold of him again and get him in the office, but I just don't feel like it's time.
Yeah.
But the Lord hasn't told me to call him yet, so I need to. And why I called him, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I think the Lord said, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
I need you."
Yeah. You've got a servant's heart, Dr. Bill.
So
Thank you.
thank you.
And thanks for allowing me the opportunity to help you out just a little bit, even though you almost touch your toes after.